Welcome to part 20, module 2, computer networks. So what we were discussing so far, it's about the media access control protocol. Particularly we covered that Aloha protocol, the pure and the slotted Aloha, and we have seen their efficiency. And what we observed is, let me take the pen. The pure Aloha is giving you how much efficiency? Some 18% around, right? Around 18.4 something percentage of efficiency. Where slotted Aloha we introduced that discreteness for our time, and we achieved some 2 times efficiency as that of the pure Aloha, that is around some 37 around. I mean this was like 18.4, so it 36.8 we can approximate to 37% of efficiency. So that is nothing but 1 by E. So what is our intention is it possible for us to come up with a media access control algorithm which can improve this efficiency? See, this 37 is a very small number, right? So is it possible for us to improve this? So with that in mind, we have the next category of multiple access or media access control protocol that called the carrier sense multiple access protocol. So as the name itself says that before transmitting any information, you are sensing the carrier, right? Carrier in the sense the media. So with the slotted Aloha, the latest, the improved version we already seen, the best channel utilization that we can achieve is just 1 by E only. And what is this 1 by E? This is around 37%, right? When you substitute the value of E as 2.718, right? So this low result is hardly surprising, since with the stations transmitting at will, without knowing what the other stations are doing, there are bound to be many collisions. So it is not a surprising result. We we don't have to worry, oh, we got only 37% of efficiency. So that is something clear for us, because we are not taking any care for it, right? Simply without seeing the scenario or the whoever else is sending the channel. So we are not at all looking at the communication media. Simply whenever we want some data, we are trying to send it. So there is no carrier sensing. So that absence of carrier sensing is actually making slotted Aloha or pure Aloha a very less efficient one. So if you are looking at LAN, however, it is often possible for stations to detect what other stations are doing. In the sense, if others are being sending their data, then I can wait for some more time, like that, right? And thus adapt their behavior accordingly. So that will be a better strategy, right? So this network can achieve a much better utilization than this 1 by E, which is achieved by slotted Aloha. And protocol in which the station listen for a carrier before transmission. It will be listening the communication media and act accordingly are called the carrier sense protocols. And we have different variations of this carrier sense protocol, like one persistent, in short you can call it as CSMA, one persistent CSMA, a non-persistent CSMA, P persistent CSMA. So like that 3 variation we will see first, followed by the carrier sense multiple access with the collision detection, collision avoidance, that kind of variations. So first let's see the one persistent CSMA. When a station has data to send, it first listens to the channel to see if anyone else is transmitting at that moment. So this is something common for all CSMA protocol, whether it is on persistent or non-persistent or P persistent, whatever it is, that listening is something, because this is something part of the carrier sensing, right? So the carrier sensing is a very first step. So now if the channel is found to be free, I mean idle, the station can send the data. If it is idle, then there is no problem, it can send the data. Now otherwise the station just waits until the channel becomes idle. So it has to wait, so it will keep on waiting its side until the channel become idle. So then so how you will be having some doubt, like how the sensing is done. So that is something I already told you. So by looking at the signal, when you transmit some information, so that is having some kind of voltage level, some representation encoding, right? And when it comes to collision, after the collided signal, when it is coming back, so that will be something different from what you sent. That signal amplitude level, its strength, Of course, that encoding pattern here, everything will be garbled, and in that way, by using some hardware mechanism, you can sense like if there is any collision, or if someone else is sending the data, of course that signal variation you can see in the medium in that way. So that is something up to the who is taking care of the hardware. So here we can assume that from the software point of view, using some hardware mechanism, we identified whether the channel is free or not, and then what is the procedure. So that is being determined by the software part. So now that about it, you will just send the frame, right, whenever the channel is found to be free. And now even if you may feel like once I send the frame, what is the guarantee that it is getting successfully delivered the receiver? In the sense means the sensing, in the sense you have some limitation, right? So whenever you have a say what called 1 second, whenever you are having a media like this, and this device want to sense the carrier, and it is having some limitation. One thing is it can't sense for some long distance, like if this person is sending the information, this could be sensing some range like this. So that is something limited, that is one thing. Now another thing, within the range itself, two devices may sense a carrier, and both of them may feel that the carrier is free, and both may simultaneously send the data. I mean when A want to send data and B also want to send data, both are sensing the carrier. So within this normally so the area which it can sense is somewhat limited, okay, and B is also sensing its area around, and both are found to be free. And of course the entire channel is free for the time being, assume so, but they are sending simultaneously, right? Both are reaching the conclusion that the channel is free, and both are sending there. So definitely chances of collision is there. So that is something we couldn't eliminate at all. So we have a protocol which are collision free, that we will see after this. So here the sensing part will reduce the risk of collision compared to Aloha, because in Aloha there is no carrier sensing at all. So compared to Aloha, this will be better, but of course the collision is still there. I mean just like this simultaneous send, or you are sending some range, but the actual data is something beyond that range. In all this case, the collision may happen, and whenever there is collision, that is very important. I mean the same thing happened at the with Aloha also. Whenever there is collision, because here A and B, both of them send the data, simultaneously send the data, and it get collided, right? But suppose if both A and B are waiting for equal amount of time, and they are trying again, definitely the chances of collision is high. So what we are doing is, the wait we are doing not for equal time or some fixed time. So we are randomly going to decide how long I want to wait, whether I will be waiting for say 5 seconds of time or 10 seconds of time. So that is something randomly selected. So that makes the algorithm robust. But the same thing is with the Aloha also. But how this random period is selected, CSMA we have a special procedure, the exponential back of algorithm, that also we will see in our subsequent discussion. So for the time being, we are selecting the waiting time random, and starts trying once the waiting period is over. And here why it is called one persistent. Okay, so that is something important, means that the act of transmitting with the probability 1, when so here you observed that where it keeps suppose the channel is already idle, I will be sending. If it is not idle, I will keep waiting until the channel is free. So suppose A and B are trying to send the data, and both A and B observed that the carrier is not idle, I mean carrier is not free, so both will be waiting. So they will keep on polling the media, and whenever they found the media is free, both will simultaneously try, and that is not a good thing, right? Because in the sense means all are greedy. So that is a thing I can tell you. So the probability is always 1, in the sense 100% probability will be there on transmitting the data as soon as the channel is idle. So that is why we given the name 1. So we have a variation of it where we call it as a P persistent CSMA, so that we are going to see. So right now it is 1 persistent. So what will be P persistent? The same phenomena, it will keep on observing the channel, but once the channel is found to be free, I mean idle, everybody is not going to send for 100% probability. So the probability is something p. So with the p percentage I will be sending the data, but with 1 minus p chances are there I will not send the data. So that kind of a randomness we are introducing on the sending part also, that makes this p persistent CSMA more robust. Is it clear? So in one persistent CSMA, actually you can think of one persistent CSMA as a variation of p persistent CSMA, where p for probability, here p is 1, I mean 100% probability. So let me tell you what is p persistent CSMA. What is p persistent CSMA? Same thing, it will check whether the channel is idle or not. If it is free, it will send the data, no problem. I mean, if it is occupied, then it will keep on waiting, right? So whenever it find the channel is idle, that is initial checking. In between I mistakenly said something different. Whenever it find the channel free, whether it is after a continuous waiting or a sudden checking, if it is find the channel free, if it immediately send the data, the two people may do the same, right? Here also this A and B checking the channel, and both are finding the channel to be free or idle. Both are sending at the same time and they get collided. I explained such a situation. So that will not happen in the case of p persistent CSMA, because for A it is having some probability p. With that p probability it will send the data, but with 1 minus p it will not send the data. Similarly for B also, with some 80% or 20% some p probability value between 0 and 1, that you know, right? It will send the data, and 1 minus p it will not send the data. So that we don't know whether it is going to send the data or not send the data. But in one persistent 100% both A and B are going to send the data. So definitely chances of collision is high compared to p persistent. So p persistent is actually a better variation of one persistent, but as our initial discussion we are seeing the poor performing on persistent CSMA. So hope it is clear why it is 1. So whenever the channel is found to be idle, 100% the stations, whoever is observing the channel to be idle, are going to send the data. So as they are 100%, everybody in worst case simultaneously more than one station may send the data and it may get collided. But in variation p persistent, even though the channel is found to be idle, it will think whether I have to send it immediately or not. With some p probability it will send, and 1 minus p it will not send, or it will differ for sending the data. So simultaneous sending of 2 or more station at the same time, that chance is less in case of p persistent. So this scheme faces collision in situation other than the rare case of simultaneous send. So if 2 stations become ready in the middle of the third station, so it's here the same example they are trying to explain in a different way, like what I told you. 2 stations, I mean I have station 1 and 2. Okay, so 2 stations were there. So both are ready. When they are ready in the middle of a third station's transmission, so by already third station is transmitting their data. So maybe at 10 o'clock it started sending the data, the third station started sending the data, till 10:30 it will send the data, for example. Okay, so in between, in the middle, I mean 10:15, both the station 1 and 2 are now ready with the data. So what they will do, both will wait until the transmission ends and both begins transmitting simultaneously. I mean as soon as the third station stops transmitting, both 1 and 2 which are waiting for the third station will simultaneously send, and resulting in a collision. So it is not about the simultaneous attempt at the beginning, it is something in between. I mean this case is something very common, right? So you just analyze it if you are confused. So if they were not so impatient, so here you can see some kind of greediness or impatience, like 100%. If it is free, I will keep on checking. Whenever it is free, I will send the data. Same thing will be doing by the others also. So collision chances are high. So if they are not that much impatient, then we could reduce the number of collision actually. So that is what we are trying next. So even so, this protocol has better performance than pure Aloha, of course, because of the carrier sensing part, because both stations have the decency to desist from interfering with the third station's frame. But in case of Aloha, when the third station is sending, they will not, they don't have that decency to wait. So immediately they also will send. So first station, second station, third station, all of them get collided. Such a situation is not there in CSMA. So that makes this one persistent CSMA work better than the Aloha protocol. Now when it comes to non-persistent CSMA, so let's see, it's a second variation. So in this protocol, a conscious attempt is made to be less greedy than in the previous case. So this is compared to this one persistent, it is less greedy in the sense it is doing some conscious attempt for that. What it is doing, as before, a station senses a channel when it wants to send a frame, and if no one else is sending, the station begins doing so itself. However, if the channel is already in use, so here so something P persistent I think is now clear for you. So this is something different from I mean there is no persistence at all, something like a non-persistent CSMA. So what is happening here, whenever the channel is idle, it will send the data. But that sending is controlled by some P probability in case of P persistent. So that is different. So it behaves like on persistent in this case. I mean whenever the station senses the channel to be free, a station senses a channel when it wants to send the data, and if no one is sending, definitely the station is going to send its data. So that one persistent, like that it is working. So that is clear for you, right? 100%. If the channel is idle, it will send the data. But if it is already in use, so here makes a difference. So this is the important line. So if it is already in use in one persistent CSMA and in P persistent CSMA, if it is already in use, they both will keep on checking until it is idle again. So why we have to spend that much effort? I can you already observed that the channel is busy, so instead of continuously checking whether it is free or not, or it is still busy, instead of continuously checking, what you can do is you can wait for some time and try after that. So that, but it is actually you may be lucky in the sense, after once you wait for some random period of time, when you are coming back, again you are getting the channel to be free. But you may be unlucky also, because when you went for waiting, during that waiting, then channel becomes free and it is occupied by someone else. So such a possibility is there, but still it is somewhat better in the sense the greediness is reduced here. Okay. So my suggestion is something, if you still have some doubt, you reread, it will be clear for you. Because my explanation, I don't know how much you can trust. So however, if the channel is ready, already in use, the station does not that continuous sensing part is avoided here, for the purpose of ceasing it immediately upon detecting the end of the previous. So in on persistent, definitely it will cease the channel immediately the other one who is sending the data stops sending. But here it is not like that. It is not going to continuously sense it. Instead it will wait random period of time. But in P persistent, which we are going to see, it will continuously sense like one persistent, but whenever the channel is found to be free, with some P probability it will send. So the randomness is introduced when it is found to be free in P persistent, but here the randomness is for the waiting, and it is not like a collision waiting. One persistent, whenever there is collision, random period of time it is waiting. But here waiting means as part of sensing the carrier, when the carrier is found to be busy, and that time you are going to wait some random period of time and you repeat the algorithm. So some variations of the same concept. So see, yeah. So consequently, this algorithm leads to better channel utilization, but channel utilization is better in the sense you are not trying continuously, right? And you are so some kind of randomness, or it is somehow reducing the greediness, right? So that you can feel. So that is what makes it having better channel utilization. But again, we have a formal mathematical derivation for this channel utilization, but that will go very detailed. So that much is not needed. So that is why I am skipping that mathematical part. And definitely longer delays compared to one persistent, in the sense one persistent, it keeps on continuously sensing it, right? But here it is not continuously sensing. Instead it will wait for some random time, and in between that waiting period, channel may be free and you may miss that free your opportunity. Such cases may occur. So that is actually going to increase the delay. Now the P persistent, I think it is clear, the same like one persistent. Only thing, when the channel is found to be free, it will send, or it will differ with a probability P and 1 minus P. So last protocol. So this mainly applies to, and one more variation is, it is for slotted channel, that trying is happening at the beginning of every time slot, just like a slotted aloha. So when a station becomes ready to send, it senses a channel. If it is idle, it transmits with a probability, but in one persistent, if it is idle, 100% it will be transmitting, but here with the probability p, and with the 1 minus p it differs transmitting the data until the next slot. Again, how long it will be differing? Until the next slot beginning is reached. So if that slot is also idle, it either transmit or differs again with the p and q in the sense 1 minus p. So this process repeated until either the frame has been transmitted or another station has begun transmitting. So in the later case, the unlucky station, that means the one actually he got a chance, but with 1 minus p probability it is not sending the data, and that is what is referred as unlucky station here. The unlucky station act as if there have been a collision. So how it is behaving, in the sense just like a collision, I mean it will wait for some random amount of time and start the algorithm again. So whether it is on persistent, p persistent and non-persistent, in case of collision the behavior is same, just like on persistent. The difference is with when the channel is idle, whether you are immediately sending the data or not, that is here. And similarly when the channel is busy, whether you want to continuously send the channel or not. So that is what makes p non-persistent different. So if the station initially senses that channel is busy, it waits until the next slot and applies the same algorithm. I hope it is clear. It's a simple concept only, right? Where they are introducing that randomness, so that is what makes them different. Now, if you so on practical application of this p persistent CSMA, you can see in IEEE 802.11, what is that? The wireless LAN, the Wi-Fi. And this so-called Wi-Fi is using this p persistent CSMA with some refinement. So it is not using it exactly as you said, as we've seen, but with some refinement you can see that. Yeah. So comparison of the channel utilization versus the load for various random access protocol, something this a picture I taken from your textbook, just like the offered load and the throughput. Similar figure we already seen in Aloha also. Aloha performance, you know that 18 percentage around, I means 0.184, and slotted Aloha, where is it? Yes, what is this? 3 0.368, right? See, 368 around 37% performance. And similarly it and plotted the one persistent, p persistent and non-persistent CSMA, and what they observed is this one persistent is performing better than this pure and slotted Aloha with the maximum efficiency, some value like some 50% above, right? 50% above efficiency is being shown by this one persistent CSMA, and some around 70% efficiency is shown by the p persistent with the one p is equal to 0.5, 50-50, and this is a different behavior of non-persistent. So that is somewhat okay. Right, and this is the behavior of some. So you can see that this, when you reduce this probability, you are getting better performance, 0.1%, 0.01%, almost 100% you can see. But of course it is achieving that with some extra delay for some of the stations. So both are having pros and cons. Yeah, that about it. And in the next presentation we will be seeing the carrier sense multiple access with the collision detection, the particular one being used in a IEEE 802.3 Ethernet standard. Yeah, thank you.